This is WIS News 10.
More than just an ACC championship on the line tonight in Charlotte. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Scarlett. This is the scene outside of Bank of America Stadium as excitement builds toward tonight's ACC title game between the Clemson Tigers and Miami Hurricanes. Defense will be huge in this one. Tonight, Miami is bringing the bling while Clemson is bringing the guts. Our Joe Gorcho joins us now live from the Queen City to explain. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Emily, Clemson's defense requires no swag, no big chain to celebrate its dominance. The Tigers simply enjoy chewing opponents and thrashing them to bits with no reward of a turnover chain required like Miami. Although, Clemson's players admit the bling is pretty sweet.
I like to wear it if we have something like that. I think it's pretty cool.
The swag is back with the U, but the Tigers' recent hardware of ACC and national title trophies outshines any turnover chain. The Tigers are hungry to add to their trophy collection this weekend in the Queen City, and they're not surprised to have another crack at claiming the crown.
To be honest with you, this is what we expect. I mean, it's a mentality, it's a mindset, it's our culture.
And defensively, the attitude is to dominate. Clemson ranks in the top 10 in 4 major defensive categories in the nation, except for turnovers forced. That's Miami's specialty. But the Tigers do well in that department.
We've scored 77 points off of turnovers this year. They've scored 72. So both teams, and we ain't had a chain or anything like that, but both teams have had incredible years and have been very opportunistic when it comes to creating turnovers and scoring points off of those turnovers, both teams.
Clemson's true strength lies in the trenches. All 4 starters on the defensive line earned all ACC honors, including 3 being named to the first team. The Tigers' close bond pushes them to perform for their fellow teammates wearing the pall.
I feel like it's not a closer group in the country. You know, it's really a family type thing, and a lot of people don't understand. You know, how can that really translate to the field? Well, when you want for your brother what you want for yourself, then you're only going to push each other to get better.
And what makes this group really special is linemen like Farrell and Christian Williams do their part to make sure the unit thrives as a whole. It's a team mindset over a mean mentality that has the Feared Foursome rolling into this big ACC championship game where a playoff spot is on the line. Now, Clemson's expected to arrive at Bank of America Stadium at around 6:10. As you can see behind me, Mark Rick is talking with the radio reporter, head coach of Miami. He is here with the Hurricanes as they hope to spoil the Tigers' night here as they seek a 3rd straight ACC championship. For the first time in 29 years they would have accomplished that. We'll have much more in this big game against Miami for the Tigers when I return later in sports. Emily, back to you.
Thanks, Joe. A lot of excitement. And ahead of kickoff tonight, Joe caught up with fans on both sides, and they're bringing the trash talk early and often.
Gambo and Clemson trying to be like the real you. They're trying to get their own chain. They can't be like us.
Oh, he broke my chain.
You took off your number 1. Oh, it's starting early. Is those fighting words right there? Just ripped off your number 1?
No, I'm not even worried about it. Everybody knows that Clemson is number 1 in the country. We've been number 1 in the country for the last 2 years. You trying to get back something they never had in the first place. Let's just be real.
BYOG. Bring your own guts. Oh, I thought it was going to be BYOC, bring your own chain.
Well, we can bring the chain too. That's pretty good.
That's nice.
I'm born and raised in South Carolina, but I am a Miami fan, so it's awesome.
How did you choose the U being from South Carolina?
I didn't go to Clemson or South Carolina, so it's a very
But
easy
you normally have to choose in the state.
But I played at Coastal, so it doesn't matter.
As you can see, plenty of excitement on both sides. We'll have much more coverage of what is a busy day of football action ahead in sports.
And boy, did we have some cooler temperatures out there today. Temperatures were stagnant in the 50s and 60s. As for right now, we're sitting at 60 degrees in Columbia, but we did warm up today to about 64. And that was once those clouds finally did break a little bit, just enough for us to get a little sunshine down here. We warmed up to 60 in Sumter, is now 54. Newberry, you're at 54 now. Your high today was just 55. You were socked in with cloud cover for most of the day. As we look at what's going on out there now, still a decent amount of cloud cover, but but you do start to see some breaks here and there. That's what's going to lead us into early tomorrow morning, and we'll be looking forward to seeing some sunshine for your Sunday. As for right now, it's 54 degrees in Sumter, 55 in St. Matthews, and 56 in Saluda. As we look at what you can expect tomorrow morning, we'll be in the 40s, and then we'll see those morning temperatures staying really kind of chilly and frigid over the next couple of days. We're going to talk about what you can expect going into tomorrow morning as we see those temperatures dipping down into those 40s. That's all coming up in just a bit, Emily.
Thanks for that, Vaughn. New at 6, a scary moment on the court during the South Carolina State North Carolina State game today.
There's been a major medical issue in front of the South Carolina State bench.
7 minutes into the game, and Raleigh, South Carolina State guard Tiborius Solomon collapses while sitting on the bench. It appeared Solomon was lying on the court unresponsive before he was given CPR by emergency medical personnel. A team spokesperson says the senior was conscious and stabilized as he was loaded onto a stretcher and taken to a hospital to be evaluated. Bulldogs head coach Murray Garvin left the game to be with Solomon at the hospital. Hospital officials tell our Raycom sister station in Charleston that Solomon is currently stable and listed in fair condition. A driver has been hospitalized after this fiery crash early this morning. Authorities say it happened in the Rosewood area around 6:30. They say a vehicle was traveling too fast, hit a car, and then caught fire. You can see the vehicle still smoldering in this video sent to us by a viewer. Authorities say the driver was not drunk. Thankfully, no one was injured. No word yet on the driver's condition this evening. 331, that's how many people were killed in alcohol-impaired crashes last year in South Carolina. Today, many of those victims' families were in one room together, remembering their loved ones who are no longer here.
This has been the hardest lesson learned in life without her. Life will never be the same.
Our Caroline Patricus is live in Columbia to explain why this vigil is part of the healing process for many. Caroline?
Well, Emily, one woman at that vigil lost her daughter 4 months ago, just a short while ago, back in October. For others, it's been a little bit longer, but one thing that really never changes is the pain, and that's according to almost everyone that was at that Mothers Against Drunk Driving candlelight vigil this afternoon. Now, according to MADD, South Carolina is among the worst in the country, ranking at number 6 in the nation for deaths every year when it comes to drunk driving related accidents. Many of those victims attended that vigil to remember their mothers, sisters, and children, you name it. Each and every one of them has a heartbreaking story to tell, including one man who says that he lost his sister who was driving to work in the morning when a drunk driver hit and killed her 2 years ago. And another, the national president of MADD, who experienced an unimaginable loss.
But I asked the medical doctor as a mom, and you could probably imagine all of us kind of screaming and say, did he crack his neck? Did he hit his head? Did he know what happened? And he was a wonderful doctor. And he lowered his head and said, no, ma'am, your son drowned. So I know he was alive in that vehicle, struggling to get out of that car.
And also, according to MADD, there are 28 deaths every day, which means one death every 51 minutes related to drunk or drug driving in the United States. And oftentimes, without loved ones, it certainly gets extremely hard around the holidays. Police say if you are going to go out and have a beverage during the holidays or any time of the year for that matter, call an Uber, call a taxi, or, find a designated sober driver. For now, live in Columbia, Caroline Patricus, WIS News 10.
Thank you, Caroline. North Carolina authorities have made an arrest in the case of a missing 3-year-old girl. Mariah Woods was reported missing from her home on Monday. Officials say 32-year-old Earl Kimry was taken into custody Friday. He's reportedly the live-in boyfriend of Woods' mother. He's facing multiple charges, including concealing of death, obstruction of justice, and felony larceny. Despite a massive search, authorities have not located the little girl and believe she is deceased. A major tax reform is one step closer to reaching President Donald Trump's desk. A look at this morning's Senate vote on tax overhaul and what it could mean for you if it becomes law. And we're tracking some up and down temperatures over the coming days, as well as some showers headed our way. Your full First Alert forecast coming up.